welcome back to my channel. If you've watched my other videos, then you already know that we love going on cruises and talking about going on cruises and all of that type of stuff. So today I thought it would be fun to do a little compare contrast video between my two favorite cruise lines, at least at the moment, Celebrity and Disney. And so maybe you're trying to decide what to do for your next vacation, or you've been on one and are wondering about the other. So thought this might be a fun little compare contrast video, but as I said, they're my two favorite, so I don't think you could really go wrong with either one of them. But I would love to hear in the comments below if you've been on one or both and what you think, and if you agree with me or if there's anything you disagree with me on. We've been on Disney Cruise Line 7 times, and then we've done Celebrity 3 times. So a decent amount of experience across both to be able to compare and contrast. And one thing I will say is that we don't have kids. So when I travel, it's typically with my husband and my brother, and we're all 3 adults. So if you are trying to plan a family vacation with your kids, I think there's probably an obvious answer here. One of these cruise lines definitely caters towards kids and the other does not. So keep that in mind as you're watching this, but hey, maybe you want to do a kid-free vacation sometime. And if that's the case, keep watching. Starting with arguably the most important category, we're gonna go with food. Now I'm gonna break food up into 2 parts. So we'll start with the buffet. Now, Disney has a very good buffet. I'm pretty sure they have like crab legs and shrimp like every day. I've seen it in there so many times. So definitely a little bit of an elevated buffet. They do, I think, repeat food a lot on the buffet, which is probably intentional, especially considering they have a lot of kids on the ship who maybe like to eat the same thing every day. But I found that I typically repeat what I'm eating over and over and over again while I'm on a Disney cruise. I don't necessarily dislike that, but it's just an observation that I've had. And I do end up getting a lot of like chicken tenders, mac and cheese, French fries, like that type of food. I'm kind of a picky eater, but that is just kind of the food that I end up eating based on the selection that they have on that buffet. Now, on the other hand, the Celebrity buffet is a 10 out of 10. It is the best buffet I have ever seen. They have so much variety and so much food. Like, I am not looking for chicken tenders ever on that buffet because I'm eating like real food and finding so much that I really, really enjoy. They have every day like an Indian food station, which I really enjoy that type of food and that profile. So I gravitate towards that a lot. They have a Mexican station every day that has like nachos, tacos, that type of stuff, which I also really enjoy. And every day the food is different. They switch it out. They have different themes, for different nationalities, all of the things. Like, they do such a great job at that buffet, and the variety that they have and the quality of that food, personally, I think is unmatched, and I have to hands down give the buffet option to Celebrity. Now, main dining. So this is the nightly dinner in the dining room that is included in the cost of your cruise. So one thing that I really appreciate about both of these cruise lines is that they have smaller dining rooms. In comparison, we did a Royal Caribbean cruise that had one huge dining room for the whole ship. It was like 3 stories tall, crammed with tables and people everywhere, and it was like chaos every single night. So both Disney and Celebrity. Now, I will caveat that this is at least true for the Celebrity ships that I have been on, but all of the ones that I've done are the Edge class. So those are their newer ships. We've done the Apex, Beyond, and Ascent. I'm not 100% sure if this is true for the older ships. So if you've been on the older ships for Celebrity, let me know in the comments below, yay or nay. But at least for Celebrity Edge class and Disney, they both have smaller dining rooms. So on a Disney cruise, there's usually 3 different dining rooms, and then I think the Celebrity ships we've been on have had 4. So it just feels much more like a regular restaurant than eating in some like massive food hall type place. Now, for the dining room experience, Disney is Disney. They have all of the theming, and dining in the dining rooms is so much fun. There'll be characters, shows, music, singing. Like, it's just a whole experience where you would definitely not want to miss any of the dinners, because there's always going to be something going on, and it really is just part of the Disney Cruise Line experience, is going to dinner in the main dining room. On the other hand, on Celebrity, it's much more of just like a traditional kind of, if you go out to dinner, the dining rooms are decorated very nicely, but it's not really like a, character theming or anything like that. It's just like a nice restaurant. And then the wait staff is, in our experience, has been very attentive, provided excellent service, but it's just, what you would expect at a restaurant. They come and take your order. There's no performances and singing, and it's much more of just like going and enjoying the company of the people you're traveling with, talking about your day, all of the things, not so much a performance and, a spectacle every night at the structure of dinner. On Disney, they have 2 dining times. So there's an early time and a late time. You're assigned to one of them, and then you're given your dining room rotation, where they tell you which dining room you're going to go to for each night of the cruise. It's very organized, very methodical, so that everybody gets to experience everything throughout their cruise. But those are your options. And if you don't want to do that one night, you can either eat like at the pool, where they have like the chicken tenders and pizza, or you can order room service, which is free. And they have limited options on the room service menu, but those are your options for dinner. Where with Celebrity, they also have an early and a late dining time that you can choose to be assigned. Or you can also do, like, I think it's called anytime or flexible dining or something like that, where you don't have a set time that you're supposed to show up at the restaurant. You can pretty much show up whenever you want, and you may have to wait if it's full, but if we've never had to wait, and we've always been able to just go in and get a table, which I really appreciate having that option with the flexibility. But I will say, you don't need that flexibility as much on a Disney cruise, because they have your whole evening really well timed out, where you can go to dinner and you're not going to miss the show. They have it planned where you can either go to the show first and then eat, or eat and go to the show, depending on which slot you have, but you're not going to miss out on anything. Where we found on Celebrity, if we were assigned that late dining time, it was really hard to go to the shows, because you never knew how long dinner was going to take. And then we just ended up eating really, really late if we wanted to go to a show. So it's nice to have that flexibility, so that you can decide, which show you're going to go to and time your dinner around it, or whatever you're going to do that evening and time dinner around it. And you're not so much stuck trying to make the rest of your evening fit in with your dining time. So I think it kind of works for both, because they have different models, but it is also just kind of nice if one night you want to eat early, the other night you're not hungry, so you eat a little bit later, where on Disney, like, you are going to eat at that same time every single night. So I don't think either one's necessarily bad. I think it works for the different experience that you're going to have. However, Disney does not keep their buffet open during dinner. And it's probably because everyone goes to the dining room. So I guess it makes sense. But Celebrity does keep their buffet open. And I'm telling you, I am a convert. I never went to a buffet for dinner. We always did the dinner in the dining room or in a specialty dining, something like that. And one night on one of our recent cruises, I didn't feel like going to the dining room. I don't think anything on the menu really was appealing to me, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the buffet. And just as an example, the last cruise we went on in December, we only went to the dining room once and ate every night in the buffet. That Celebrity, I've already said, the buffet on Celebrity is so good. At dinner, I mean, you can get a steak made to order. They had tuna steaks made to order. Every night, it's a different theme. It all changes out. Like, I had the best food I think I've ever had on a cruise, eating in that buffet for dinner every night. Like, I was personally the most satisfied that I ever have been with food on a cruise. It is so, so good. And Celebrity also has several specialty dining options that are an additional cost above and beyond your cruise fare. We've done a few of those and they have all been good. There's one that we really enjoy that's up on the rooftop, so it's like outside, which can be really nice. The last time we did eat there though, it was like very, very windy, which was a little bit unfortunate, but when it's not really windy, it's really nice just to eat outside if you time it right with the sunset. So it is nice to have those different options of different foods you can eat. They have like a sushi restaurant, which we've never done that one, but they have a steakhouse, like different types of restaurants. And then Disney also has a couple upcharge restaurants that are adults only. And we've done that as well. We don't always do it. We've done it sometimes. I think it's good. I don't know that it's like amazing personally. I don't know that it's worth the money. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I mean, I could take it or leave it personally. I always just eat way too much there. And that was one thing I found eating at the buffet. I was never over full. Like I never left that meal feeling like, oh my gosh, I just ate so much, which I think happens a lot in the restaurants, probably because you're like eating all those courses because you just feel like you have to, whether or not you're hungry or not. And so I personally, like I am converted. I am all about the dinner buffet. And I just really appreciate that if you want to eat in like 30 minutes, you definitely can. It doesn't have to be like a hour-long experience, as it would be if you go into the dining room. And I just really enjoy having that flexibility. Service in the main dining room. I think this is one place where Disney gets a lot of accolades, is their dining room service, and they're known for that. I think it's true. We've had, for the most part, all of our wait staff on a Disney cruise have been really, really great. They travel with you throughout the entire cruise, so you have the same group every night. And they usually do definitely make an effort to try to get to know you. They know your preferences a little bit. They'll give you like brain teasers and riddles and, try to make the dining experience like really fun. Absolutely. We've had a couple where that hasn't been the case, but for the most part, they do, I think, go above and beyond in the Disney dining room. In contrast on Celebrity, like that's not been our experience. It's just been much more like if you went to a restaurant, the relationship that you would have with your waiter, right? It's not, they're fine. They provide very good service. They're attentive. They're knowledgeable about the food, all of that, but they're not, going to get to know you and your dog and give you puzzles to do to bring back the next day. It's just much more of like a regular dining experience, which I personally don't mind. I don't need that level of interaction with the wait staff. If that is something that is like a deal breaker for you though, just know that you're probably not going to find that on a Celebrity cruise. But one thing that I have noticed, and it's probably my biggest like pain point with the Disney cruise, is that we have had a lot of trouble in the main dining room with like drink service and it being very slow. So I'm talking like 10-15 minutes, we're sitting there and our cups are all just completely empty. And it's not because they're not paying attention, it's the whoever's doing the drinks is just running around and they're just too busy and they don't have time to like, fill everybody up as quickly as they should. Where on Celebrity, I'm telling you, like our cups never went past half full. Like they were constantly like very attentive. And I think it is just due to there being so many different options. Everybody's not in the dining room at the same time every night. There were nights that we've been in those main dining rooms at, like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and all the tables around us, there's no one there. Like it's just much more people are in the specialty dining, they're eating at different times, just having all of those different options in general just makes it more, I think, less chaotic in the dining room, and the waiters in there have a lot more time to dedicate to you and pay more attention to your table. The group that we had we were the only ones in there that they were serving at that time. So, anytime we needed something, someone was there that fast. So I would argue to say that I almost prefer the celebrity service just because I don't really care about the puzzles and brain teasers and all that. I'd rather just make sure I have drinks at all times during the meal. Entertainment. I think this is definitely like Disney's gold star. They have all of the IP, they have all of the stories that the songs that all of that. The productions that they put on their ships are Broadway caliber shows. I mean, they're great. They always do at least one full like production Broadway show. So they'll do like Aladdin or Frozen, like the full story. And then they'll have some other shows that are more like snippets from different movies and songs and characters that and love. Like if you like the Disney IP and that is something you want to see, I mean, no one's going to come close to it, and you probably need to stay with Disney. The entertainment's great. My only complaint is that I wish they had more like variety of shows, because we've been on different ships that do the same shows, and it's like you have so much IP, so many different movies to pull from, so many songs, so many characters that are all so good. Why are we watching the same show that we saw on a different ship? That's my only complaint, is I wish they had more shows, which I'm super excited about. Like the Treasure, I think they have at least the Moana shows new on there. So definitely excited. And the first time you see any of the shows, they're amazing. It's just a little repetitive if you've seen it multiple times, which is my only complaint, but nothing about the quality of the show. I love them. This was one thing that I think I went into the Celebrity Cruise with very low expectations on, because I didn't know what to expect, honestly. And it's not the same. They didn't, on any of the cruises we did, they didn't do like a full Broadway production show. They do just those on some royal ships, and we've seen one of those, and it was very well done there as well. But on Celebrity, they don't do that. It's more the model of like kind of a theme, but it's different songs that they pull from that you probably know or have heard, maybe through different decades or whatever the theme is. But the production quality is very, very good. I think I took a video, so I'll stick it here so you can see, but they have like a screen in the back that is like extremely high resolution, and they really use it a lot within the the props on the stage, and then the screen behind them and the characters, and it all works really, really well together, and it is very well done. And one thing that Celebrity does that I haven't seen in any of the Disney performances is they have a lot of like acrobatics and gymnasts and like people who can just do absolutely like unhuman type things, that it's so impressive. And I really, really enjoy watching just the different type of entertainment that they have. So I would say, Disney's, if you like that, Disney's definitely better. Nobody's gonna compete, but the shows on Celebrity are very, very good. Definitely worth going to. They also have like shows in other venues on the ships that are like even more of the acrobatic stuff, which is super cool. So I think like they're definitely very different. The shows on Celebrity probably aren't going to be very appealing to a younger audience. I think I'm probably about the youngest that they're geared towards, but they're still very, very well done and definitely worth going to. Next up, drinks. For me personally, I can go either way when it comes to alcohol. I can go on a full week-long vacation and not have a sip of alcohol and not miss it at all. Or I can go and get the unlimited drink package and try everything on the ship. And like either one is fun, they're different. So if you're someone who is, one way or the other has a very strong preference, then you may have a different feeling. But for me personally, I can go either way. On a Disney ship, they don't have any type of unlimited drink package or anything like that. I do think though their drinks tend to be more affordable compared to other cruise lines. Like, I don't know if that's a fact, but I think that's been my experience. And whenever we have ordered something just a la carte, it hasn't been as much of a sticker shock as maybe like a Royal Caribbean or even a Celebrity, where you're paying like $17 for a drink. I think it's maybe more in like the $10 range. Still expensive, but whatever. But on Disney, you do get like soda package is like free. So they just have those machines out and it's free for anyone. And they do have club soda in those machines, which I really appreciate because I love sparkling water. And like that, to me, I'm satisfied if I can just get the club soda, and I don't mind going to get it. I don't mind going to fill it up. It is kind of annoying that they only have the machines like up on the pool deck, like in one location. I don't know if the new ships have more, but that's like my only complaint. But I guess, can't really complain too much about it. But they don't have any type of option for like a package, where on Celebrity, they do have like unlimited drink packages. So they have like a non-alcoholic version and then 2 levels of the alcoholic package, like a classic and a premium. We've always done the premium package because from what I have gathered based on looking at the menus, if you do that classic package, there's a lot of stuff you can't get. You can pretty much only get like one of every kind of thing, and you're not going to get any of like the better liquors. You're going to get like the house, whatever it is. So I think personally it's a minimal upcharge to get up to the premium package, but it's definitely worth it. But anytime we've had that package on Celebrity, we have really enjoyed it. I think it's a little expensive, but in my opinion, it is worth it because there's so many different venues on the ship that offer all different kinds of drinks. I mean, we're pool people, so like we'll be out at the pool all day, and they have bar service at the pool. They come around and it's pretty fast actually. Like the last time we were on was New Year's, which I think is probably like the biggest, like most crowded week of the year, and it was never a problem to get a drink at the pool or at any of the bars. So really, really good service. They have tons of variety. They have a big martini bar in the like big atrium area that's so much fun. And like, I don't know, I think it's just fun. I don't really drink a lot when I'm at home, so it's kind of different and fun on vacation to have that option. I definitely enjoy having like the unlimited package versus just paying per drink. You can just like try things, and if you don't like it, you don't really feel guilty for taking 2 sips and leaving it because you didn't pay $20 for it or whatever. But it's definitely not like a must have, at least for me, but it is really fun to have that as an option. Variety. So this is getting better with Disney. As they get more ships, they're able to offer different itineraries, and they've, they're now in Australia and they're doing some different routes, which is really great. But Celebrity still wins when it comes to just the variety and the options, mainly because they just have more ships. So that is one thing. If there's an itinerary that you're looking for, Disney may not have it. So you may need to look at a different cruise line, and Celebrity does have more. They still, I don't think, have as many as like a Royal Caribbean, but they do have more variety than Disney. And I don't know this to be a fact. This is just what I have seen online, but it kind of seems like Disney, unfortunately, even as they get more ships, is moving towards like more short sailings. And we don't like short cruises. We want to go for a full week. We don't want to go for 3-4 nights. Like, that's not enough time. It's not relaxing, especially on a Disney cruise. Everybody's running around like crazy the whole time. The shortest we've done, we did a Disney cruise for 5 nights, and we were like, never again. We're doing 7 or more. And like, it's too short, and we don't want to do a short cruise. So unfortunately, it seems like that is what they're moving towards. Like, their model is even going shorter, and there's very few even week-long or longer itineraries. So that's one thing that's a little bit of a bummer, where Celebrity definitely has a lot more of the longer cruises, especially if you want like a really long, like a 2-week kind of cruise, which unfortunately is hard for us with work and dogs, but I wish we could do it. We would totally do it. Like, we would do as long as we could. But I don't like the short cruises. And so I think that's a little bit of a bummer that Disney seems to be adding more of those and not more of like at least 7-night cruises. Adult only areas. This may seem obvious, but I don't think it is. So Celebrity doesn't cater towards kids, but kids are allowed on those cruises. So we did, in the last 6 months, we went on the week of Labor Day, which was like right after school had started, and pretty much no kids. There were a couple like babies. I didn't see any kids. And then we went the week of New Year's, where they said there was like 550 kids. So probably one of the least amount of kids and the most kids are the two experiences that I have had. And I do think when you say kids, it tends to be more on the older side, like teenagers versus maybe like elementary school. But I mean, obviously, who knows? And I would imagine if you go in like the summer, it's probably somewhere in the middle of those 2 weeks as far as the number of kids. So on a Celebrity cruise, there's not areas that the kids aren't allowed to go. So they're going to be at the pool. There's not an adults only pool. So while there maybe aren't very many of those kids, even if you have 10 of them in the pool, it kind of feels like a lot of kids. So if you are looking for the ability to be in an area that is like completely no kids allowed, it's actually Disney that's going to give you that. The adult pool at Disney, I have seen when there's no one in the pool, like a kid will come wandering over and try to go swimming, and the staff is there like that, telling them, no, adults only, you need to go to one of the other pools. So Disney is very serious about adults only being adults only. And if they have a show in the evening that is an adults only show, like kids are not allowed in there. At the Celebrity cruise that we did over New Year's, one night they had an adult comedy show. And the only thing they said was at the beginning of the show, they were like, fair warning, this is 18 and up. And if you're not 18 and you hear something you're not supposed to hear, it's not our fault kind of deal. But they weren't like making people leave. So, and there were definitely kids that were not 18 in that show. So it's definitely like they're not as strict about saying it's adults only. There's in general just less kids, but the kids that are there are allowed to be anywhere. So there were definitely kids in the pool. Of course, the New Year's cruise with all the kids, it was way more kids in the pool. In September, it was really kind of like the kids were not welcome in the pool was kind of like the vibe. There were a couple that didn't read the room and were in the pool splashing around anyways. But it is what it is. It's their vacation too. But I don't think it's really like, it's not really the place. And I don't know that it would really be that fun where you have all of these adults, you know, hanging out in the pool, drinking, and then you just want to like play in the pool. It's not really set up for that. And half of the people in there were just glaring at the kids like, stop splashing, and this is not where you should be. So I think the Disney gives you that separation of like the kids can go into this area and be kids and have fun and splash around and do whatever. And if you don't want to see any of that, you don't want to be around the kids, you have the adult section where they're not allowed. Where on Celebrity, it's kind of like a roll of the dice. If there's going to be a lot of kids there, and if there are, how well behaved they might be. This final category is a little niche, but it might be important to you because it's important to me, and that is holiday decorations. So we love the holidays. We love cruising around the holidays because it's so much fun and it just like takes it up another notch. So Disney does their like Merry Time cruises. They also do their Halloween ones. We've never done a Halloween one, but I think that would be super fun too. But the Merry Time, the whole ship is just so decorated beautifully, like kind of over the top, but in like a very beautiful way. And they have like huge gingerbread houses. They have Santa Claus. Like it is just so well done. And we haven't done a Christmas cruise on Celebrity, but we did do New Year's. And I'm pretty sure all of the Christmas decorations were still up when we went on the New Year's cruise. And the decorations were very different. They were very pretty. They were very tastefully done, but it didn't feel like the same Christmas experience as you would get on Disney. Now, that was fine because we got on, I think, December 28th. So I was kind of like over Christmas at that point anyways, and I wasn't looking for that like real Christmas experience because I was ready for New Year's. You know, we were like past that. But I think if we had gone in December, like earlier in December, and wanted that Christmas experience, I don't know that it would have been as much of what I was looking for as the Disney holiday cruises are. So just something to keep in mind if you really want that like holiday experience. I think Disney is probably better. If you don't mind and you just want like a really nice cruise with really tasteful decorations, then Celebrity's fine, but I don't think it's as much of like an emphasis on it being like a holiday cruise as it is on Disney. All right, well, that's all for this one. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree, or if there's anything else that I missed. Would love to hear your thoughts. And if you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.